I would now request Shri Ashok Kumar Gupta, Chairperson CCI, to kindly address the August gathering and highlight some of the significant initiatives taken by CCI.
Honorable Union Minister of State Independent Charge, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, Planning and MOS Corporate Affairs, Rao Inderjit Singh Ji, Secretary Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Shri Rajesh Verma Ji, Member NCLAT Justice Rakesh Kumar, Member NCLAT Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra, Member NCLAT Shri Kanti Narhari, ex-Chairperson CCI Shri Dhanendra Kumar Ji, ex-Member CCI Shri P.N. Parashar, members of PFDRA Shri P.K. Singh Ji, Dr. Manoj Anand Ji, my colleagues in the Commission, officers of CCI, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address you all at this National Conference on Competition Law as we commemorate 75 glorious years of India's progress as an independent nation through Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav dedicated to the people of India. We at the Competition Commission of India take this opportunity to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to protect the interests of a people by making markets work well for all. Well-functioning markets give consumers meaningful choices and give businesses the opportunity to compete on merits. The CCI, since its inception, has remained steadfast on its mandate to sustain and promote competition in the interest of consumers. It is by delivering on this objective that we strive to drive productivity, innovation and dynamism in the Indian economy. The Commission over these years has strived to find the right balance in its enforcement actions across diverse sectors of the economy. Our aim has been to achieve market correction through cases that are efficiently scrutinized and conducted with procedural fairness. We believe that enforcement of the law has been robust, yet judicious, with interventions calibrated, keeping in mind the nature of contraventions, the sector involved, and the overall state of the economy. At the same time, we have strengthened and streamlined our procedures and processes so as to expedite the disposal of cases without compromising on principles of natural justice. Thus, over the years, we have addressed a variety of challenges, be it procedural, jurisdictional, interpretational, or capacity-related. As we enter Amrit Kal, the 25-year-long lead up to India at 100, we have to constantly strategize and retool ourselves in order to provide the necessary institutional support for a vibrant, well-functioning market economy. We have taken small steps, but pledged to do more towards this end. Given the potential growth in trade and technology in the coming years, and in view of the possibility that several sectors which were otherwise not open to real competition may also see new entry and activity, the role of the agency is set to expand substantially. We have to do everything possible to meet the challenge. Thus far, the Commission reviewed over 1,100 antitrust cases. Through these cases, the Commission has developed a sound body of jurisprudence. What is most gratifying is the behavioral changes that we have observed in market participants pursuant to our decisions. We have had an assertive enforcement agenda against cartels, given that they are the most fundamental threat to competition with no redeeming virtues. The Commission is continually adapting its cartel detection toolkit as enterprises now look for novel ways to collude. Forensic tools, data analytics, and dawn raids are increasingly becoming very useful methods during the investigation process. We are also incentivizing self-reporting through our leniency program, not just because it helps us unearth cartels, but also because leniency provisions can have a destabilizing effect on cartels by shaking the trust on which they stand. As India emerges as one of the biggest and fastest growing digital consumer bases, market distortions need to be corrected promptly. At the same time, while addressing the competition problems in technology markets, we must give due regard to aspects of innovation and efficiency. This balanced approach is also followed for the regulation of combinations. The Commission is committed to make sure that companies can effectively benefit from M&As where they do not undermine the functioning of markets. As we evaluate the likely harm to competition in terms of price and non-price aspects, we also take into account efficiency gains, new products, processes, and the fresh rivalry that M&As can bring about. We are mindful that mergers and acquisitions are crucial instruments for investment flows, creating economic synergies and contributing to the process of industrial development. They also help create scale economies for firms which are crucial for competing in today's globalized economic order. I am glad that CCI acts as a facilitator in this process through expeditious assessment of combination filings. The average time taken for the approval of combination cases has now come down to 17 working days. In over 900 combinations reviewed so far, remedies were ordered in only 22 cases, that is 2% of overall cases. These were in cases where the inquiry demonstrated harm to competition. We firmly believe that our balanced approach to regulation has resulted in a pro-market regulatory system that expeditiously facilitates synergetic transactions and combinations that have anti-competitive potential alone are subject to detailed review. As part of our ongoing efforts to reduce compliance burden, a major step was taken in 2019 through the introduction of Green Channel for automatic approval of non-problematic combinations. It is heartening that this trust-based system has received positive feedback from all quarters of the industry, and today, Green Channel cases constitute around 25% of total combination filings. CCI has remained steadfast by focusing on procedural simplification, speedy disposal, and lessening compliance. For instance, most recently, the requirement of providing information on non-compete arrangements in merger filings has been dispensed with, which has provided parties to the combination with the required flexibility to negotiate non-compete clauses and reduce the information requirements at the time of notifying combinations. Revised guidance notes have been issued which give parties to the combination clarification on the information to be filed with CCI. In near future, CCI would come out with FAQs for guidance of stakeholders and to provide clarity on diverse issues. I am happy to announce that these FAQs would be published in regional languages as guided by Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs while visiting exhibition stall of CCI during MCA Iconic Day celebrations. Regulation cannot work with information deficit. Across our work streams, we are placing reliance on continuous dialogue and proactive engagement with stakeholders. Increasingly, CCI would be conducting more and more market studies for better understanding of the market structures and competition dynamics across critical sectors. Going forward, CCI would use such studies as a primary tool for reaching out to industry and experts to bridge information gaps and to place the competition regime on a strong intellectual foundation anchored in a clear understanding of evolving market circumstances. Curated workshops and other advocacy tools would be deployed to supplement such outreach initiatives of CCI. We must also be forward-looking in view of the growing number of cases and complexity in the digital sector and the increasing need for data and technology skills. We are now planning to set up a dedicated digital markets unit within CCI as a center of expertise for digital markets. In the interconnected and globalized world, it is also imperative that we remain alive to the developments taking place in different jurisdictions at global level, particularly in the context of new age markets. CCI is keeping a close eye on such developments to ascertain their relevance and feasibility in the Indian context. CCI has also already in place cooperation arrangements with various agencies and groupings. As a further step in this direction, CCI has been constantly and continuously widening and deepening its international cooperation arrangements, and I am happy to share that in the recent past, we have executed 3 more MOUs with our global counterparts. Such initiatives will go a long way in facilitating exchange of mutual learnings and experiences, and thereby help in building capacities and fine-tuning our framework in light of the best global practices. The Commission's advocacy efforts have also been widened and fine-tuned to improve effectiveness and make the initiatives well-targeted. I would like to especially mention the State Resource Person Scheme. Under the scheme, 2 retired officers from the state governments are disseminating awareness on competition law by imparting training and organizing workshops and seminars for the procurement officers of various state departments. This scheme will go a long way in making the states active partners in promoting competition culture in the country. Advocacy across sectors remains a prime focus area for CCI. Policy measures and competition law can mutually reinforce the deepening of markets as well as making them function optimally. Our policy advocacy efforts aim to bring out these synergies as we recently did through our pharma sector market study. Equally important is spreading the message of competition and competition law among industry across the length and breadth of the country. The Commission realizes the enormity of the task and hence the need to have offices across regions. Our Southern Regional Office in Chennai and the Eastern Regional Office in Kolkata have been inaugurated by the Honorable Finance Minister. Soon we will operationalize our Western Regional Office in Mumbai. Besides deepening our advocacy efforts, the regional offices will make the Commission more accessible to stakeholders, even for enforcement purposes. Being a relatively young regime, the Commission has kept advocacy uppermost on its agenda. We have held more than 1,200 advocacy events with diverse stakeholders groups. The Commission's advocacy literature is being translated to different regional languages for better regional outreach. Today, the Honorable Minister will be releasing advocacy booklets in 3 more regional languages. Increasingly, we are pursuing customized, stakeholder-relevant advocacy initiatives. We see a reflection of this not only in improved compliance, but also in the quality of cases that we are receiving. The competition issues and evidence we get to see in the cases brought before us makes it evident that stakeholders now have a much better appreciation of the law and its nuances. We are conscious that the Commission, in addition to its enforcement and adjudication functions, has been accorded the role of an expert body with multifarious functions. In addition to directing investigation or orders against specific entities with the aim of eliminating a practice found to be pernicious, our role extends to that of an expert body advising the government on economic policies and promoting a culture of competition. Economic policy making is an act of balancing various objectives, and encouraging competition-driven efficiency in allocations is one such objective that should be placed on the table in policy-making discussions. To this end, the participation of CCI in policy deliberations and engagement with various arms of the government assumes great significance. Last month, we have celebrated our 13th annual day. Indeed, this journey has been quite eventful in terms of interventions and evolution of jurisprudence. Time is now ripe to take stock of the path traversed and the way forward. In this, CCI would be undertaking impact assessment of its interventions across select sectors of the economy to gauge effect and align our processes in light of the results of such exercise. Before I conclude, I would like to say that our goal is to build a regulatory regime based on trust and communication. The Commission is increasingly reaching out to the stakeholders to remove any disconnects between market realities and competition regulation. The objective of the Act and the Commission is not to create an additional hurdle for businesses, but to ensure a healthy, competitive environment which will bring out the best in them. We are cognizant of the fact that the working of the Commission has to be in harmony with the evolving business environment. Thus, we will continue to ease compliance burden and keep processes fair, transparent, and market-friendly. We look forward to reciprocation and cooperation from businesses in establishing the virtues of fair competition. trust is necessarily mutual between industry and regulator. To make a trust-based regime sustainable, it is imperative that businesses adopt proactive compliance as the guiding light of corporate governance strategy. It is only then that our people and citizens will trust markets as an institution to spur economic progress and enhance consumer welfare. Today's conference is an attempt to bring all stakeholders together for an exchange of views and constructive dialogue on the emerging issues in antitrust enforcement and regulation of combinations. We are honored to have in our midst the Honorable Minister Rao Inderjit Singh Ji. Our sincere gratitude to you, sir, for being with us. I look forward to productive and fruitful deliberations through the day and wish the conference a grand success. Thank you very much.